Hi friends, Erin here with Daily Elevations. We are talking today about breakdowns and getting support. So what is a breakdown really? It is when you've reached the end of your rope, you do not have any more capacity to continue as things have been going. There needs to be a break. Oftentimes it is a breakdown. But when we use these effectively, we can actually make ourselves stronger, give ourselves more space and more capacity. I want to suggest that we all walk around this world with like a container that holds all of our emotions. And there's like a boiling point for our negative emotions. Negative emotions are the ones that make us feel contracted. Like if you actually just took a moment right now and took a few deep breaths in to the feeling of love, love actually makes you feel expansive. Trust actually makes you feel expansive. It's that I don't trust, I'm scared that makes us contract. It's the I'm angry with you that makes us contract. So when we have negative emotions on us, our capacity for handling things actually gets smaller. And then we're like hitting the top, and at some point that top explodes. We release the negativity, and then we get to have our expansion again. One, because we've just taken that container and we've blown the top off of it. And two, because we also released a lot of stuff that was in that container. So when we look at the judgments that we have around expressing emotion, there's a lot of, negativity towards people who cry or, people who get angry and are total hotheads about everything. And that's true, because if it's happening in places that it's not a controlled setting, then, oftentimes damage occurs. It's not controlled, so there might be somebody that gets hurt, or, a relationship gets wounded, or it's just unprofessional and not standing in the strongest self that who you truly are. But that being said, I think that the people that are most successful in this world are not emotionless. I think that they're very much in touch with their emotions, and therefore build places to have breakdowns, or build those places and those practices when they know they're taking a big step, or where they can expect that certain emotions are going to come up as they look to stretch themselves into that bigger shoes that comes with a certain amount of stress. When we have moments that really kind of hit us, in like this one, like we kind of feel like, whoa, what is going on? And we have to find a greater capacity to hold it. These are times of stretching ourselves. And in these times, it's really important that we build the foreshadowing of like, where am I on my cap? How much more can I take? And when should I start asking for support? And actually getting those times that we get to vent, that we get to release, that we get to kind of take some of that pressure out of these physical bodies, which are holding everything. Like we can positive think stuff, but if we're actually holding negativity in our bodies, like the physical is going to win over, the fairy thoughts, or the that shadow self is going to kind of find its place to show. And shadow self is kind of like the one that we pretend doesn't exist. No, this is who I am. I'm all good. I got this. This doesn't exist. So getting support, what I recommend is paying close attention to yourself. And I actually had a very organized breakdown. I mean, it definitely like overtook me, but it didn't cause any real damage. I did have to make a couple apologies because I did do a couple things that were outside of my character. But it's hard to sometimes know exactly how to ask for support because we're not really used to doing that. And the thing that I had to apologize for was that I kind of started a debate while checking in with somebody rather than saying, okay, I'm really having a hard time right now. On the next call that I had, I was like, I'm having a hard time right now. And it was a call that was really a space for kind of having that release. And you can do that with a therapist. You can do that with a trusted friend. But if you can do that when you're at a 7, 8, 9, before you get to that 10, then that can be really useful in helping you to continue to be productive and to hold yourself to the standards that you like to see yourself living up to. There are a couple really big reasons going on in this world right now as to why we might all be getting to that edge of breakdown. And if you haven't already kind of had one, then you might be getting there soon. And number one is if you are empathic. I am very empathic. I feel everyone and everything going on around me. And so it's not just my emotions that I'm holding. It's like a lot, and it's just a lot. That's all I can say. There are a lot of emotions around right now, more so than usual. And they're the emotions that, and this is number 2, we are all being triggered right now. Maybe in very subtle ways that we barely notice, maybe in very pivotal ways that we just find ourselves with increased reactivity. And that's because, the fear of physical harm. Like if you're afraid of getting the virus, like that's like a physical attack. That's kind of involving your physical body, or the loss of finances, that's like also involving this physical world and your ability to support yourself. These are the things that take root in our first and second chakras, which are of our energy body, and you don't need to know anything about that to understand that when we are growing up, when we're little kids still, our primary thing is safety in this physical world. So when that's challenged in any way, shape, or form, it's not our adult self. Our adult self is here, but if there was any wounding, anything that went wrong as a little kid, those things come up as triggers around safety for our physical world and finances. So you're not just dealing with your adult self as you're moving through this thing. Your 2-year-old or your 5-year-old might be here in a big way with you. And there might be that sense of being triggered or feeling out of control, or just, I don't feel like myself. I feel like I can't control things like I normally do. So being an empath, being triggered. And the final one is this is a major detox that we are doing right now. As a planet, the planet's detoxing, we are detoxing. And, I've been through really hard kind of dark nights of the soul in terms of getting over an eating disorder, but addiction kind of things. And anyone who's been through addiction knows what it's like to confront your demons. And we are all in this place where most of our addictions have been frozen from us. We can't go to the gym. And even if you weren't going to the gym in an addictive way, going to the gym buffers a lot of that emotionality, that it's a release. It's a different kind of release than yelling or crying, but it is a massive release where we get to buffer the intensity of some of our feelings. The other things is shopping, like just going out to be with friends. These are primal, all of our ways of distracting ourselves from the intensity of our feeling. Many of them have been taken away. And many of the other things that we're used to doing, we can't do Netflix 24 hours a day. It'll last a few, we'll still get that in there. It's still available. But there's a point where our system's just I can't do this forever. I need something else. So then that need for something else also starts to build into the emotional kind of Kool-Aid that's bubbling over here, to really need to be released and to need to be grounded with support. So asking for the support you need as soon as you realize you need it, as soon as you're feeling why are we talking about this? Can't we talk about this other thing? Really ask people, can we talk about this other thing? and come into your own heart. Your heart, as I said, holds everything. It's got all the space in the world. You might need to cry. You might feel things more deeply by getting into your heart for a moment. So make sure you're in a safe space to do that. But just keep breathing. And the heart has the capacity, I promise, to help you move right through those things. And the other thing is reach out to a therapist, reach out to support. And remember, I am still offering free sessions for coronavirus relief. For anybody who needs somebody to talk to. So you can go ahead to erinlaporto.com and book a session for free, no obligation. We'll just check in and you can vent any way you want to. But I want you to know that that's there, and I want you to know that taking care of your emotions is your responsibility. And we are all taxed out on our emotions right now. We're all kind of hitting this edge. So just assuming that the person that you always go to like kind of talk things through is going to have capacity for you at this moment, you might find that that's not true at this time. So just understanding this is a massively transformational time for everybody. And the best way we can actually experience it as a positive transformation is to really take responsibility for what's true with us, true for us, to be with ourselves in our hearts, to be there for each other's when we have the capacity, and to be there for ourselves when we don't. And hopefully with all of that, we will get through this together. But please, don't be afraid of having a breakdown in a controlled way. It will help you. And if you want more tips and advice on how to successfully have a breakdown, give me a call. Get that session booked and we can talk all about it. All right, guys, you be well. Sending you so much love. Thanks so much.